picking against a team like TSM. Sky definitely a pick that has huge potential, but we've seen so little of it over the last few weeks that it's a very niche pick and definitely something that very few players are happy to go with. As you've rightly said, though, Hyde, one of those players that is more than willing to go for that pick.
Obviously, another option that is very possible is going for something like a Vox in the lane and putting Black with it in the CP role in the jungle, or picking the Kestrel as well.
Yeah, there's definitely options available to Tempo Storm, and they're mulling over those options quite a bit, using... They hadn't used any bonus time until this pick, and putting a lot of thought into their final selection, wanting to try and get it right. Again, they want to play spoiler. They want to be able to say that they ended the season by taking out Team Solo Mid. So there's definitely some pride on the line here. It is going to be the Kestrel lock-in for Tempo. And now Team Solo Mid, they could just go for the Vox themselves, perhaps, if they wanted to try and run that double weapon that we've seen a lot of teams going for. But I would expect something to be coming out of the jungle for Vainglory.
All right, TSM, show me that CP Rona and play something else in the lane.
It's going to be Alpha. Oh, wait, Alpha's banned. Never mind. It's not going to be Alpha.
Could be Koshka.
I take it all back. Yeah, Koshka could definitely come out on this one.
I mean, I really would think CP Rona would work really well, but they go for the Taka. That's going to be most likely the CP jungle pick, and Rona being used in the lane to counter the Black for their, the Kestrel, now that the matchup has changed. Very strong composition from both teams, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this Taka pick is going to work out. Obviously, Taka a pick that we haven't seen huge success here in these western, in the western regions. Taka kind of not had a great reputation this season, but it's definitely a pick that can have huge success, especially into picks like a Kestrel. If you can lock down that target, if you can jump straight onto them, you can blow them up.
And it's a pick that Vainglory used to be incredibly well known for. If you go way back to the very beginning of Vainglory, when the team was called Vainglory, he was able to make plays on this Taka and locked it in every single game, regardless of what the composition around him was. So definitely a pick that he has a lot of familiarity and comfort with.
Team Von in their time, Vainglory did play a lot of Catherine and a lot of Taka. So CP Taka could work very well for them, especially since they have the Lyra as well, teleporting in on top of Kestrel or on top of Blackfeather. Both are going to be squishy, and trying to burst one down could very well work for TSM. On paper, they are the much better team here.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see if they can live up to that here in this series. Everything is on the line for TSM, and apparently it is Taka Tuesday for them as well, even though it's a Saturday. They're going up against Tempo Storm. Hashtag Vainglory8. Let us know who you are supporting. Can TSM do this? Can they get onto the semi-finals? It's time to pass it back to Medic and Denominate to find out.
Thank you very much, Munch, and we are into the final series here in NA for today. Tempo Storm up against TSM. The battle of the two T's. Which T will be superior? I think Earl Grey is the one we can all agree on to start us off. Denominate, do you have a favorite T?
I'm actually surprised we're not giving Munchables a harder time for that Taka Tuesday on Sunday. But Tempo Storm, you know, again, they had a good performance last week, but this is Team Solo Mid, and they have so much on the line. You have to imagine they're coming through today with their absolute best, trying literally their absolute hardest that they have all season so that they can try to keep an edge and keep in the running for that world spot. So if I'm going to give you a favorite T, it's going to be Team Solo Mid.
I can understand that. I can understand that. I think you ducked away from the question. I assumed you were going to go for like an iced tea, because that's all I drank when I was in America. Lipton iced tea, I believe it was called. There are other brands of iced tea if you are American, I'm sure. You can get like sweet teas as well, which is not a thing in England. Like you don't have sweet tea. Well, people have sugar in their tea, but you don't get like cold sweet tea. It doesn't exist. TSM gonna push up the lane here with a minion candy as well to try and buff it up a little bit, but they're just trying to get Vainglory some time to farm on his own T, the Taka jungle that he has cracked out this game.
Yeah, and again, this is a pick that we know Vainglory for. He has double Weapon Blade in his pocket, but it likely will go into that Crystal Power Taka looking for the burst. Maybe even a Tension Bow Aftershock, who knows, we'll have to see, but here comes Playboy Afro.
Oh, he's so low though, and Flash Axe gets himself away. Playboy Afro took a lot of damage there on the Lance. Thought he had the engage onto Flash X. The rest of his team was there to back him up, but they did not anticipate the Imperial Sigil healing. Flash X didn't even use his healing flask there. Just able to sustain up through the damage coming out from Tempo Storm.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw Playboy Afro almost get deleted there, and he sticking around for some gold here for a moment, but it's going to be Flash coming up, stopping those recalls, forcing Tempo Storm to stay in the lane, and this is one of those key things that teams have to be able to do. Anytime that you can buy from your opponents being able to safely rotate back to lane, it's going to allow you to keep an edge because they're not going to get to spend their gold. And even if you're even on farm, if you have 2,000 gold in your pocket, if that's preventing you from getting a tier 3, that is not going to help you in a team fight. But Tempo Storm, they get the opportunity to shop. Gaspy not quite at that Sorrow Blade, about 1,100 gold shy, and Afro a little bit shy on the Fountain as well. Mid getting the opportunity to rotate now as well and get some shopping done. So first round to shop is confirmed. Weapon Rona in the lane, going for that Serpent's Mask. And give her a lot of sustain in these fights. And she's probably going to need it. Gaspy on this Kestrel is going to pack a punch.
He is, and it's always a risk when you play the melee into range matchup in the lane as well, because you can struggle a little bit. Having Flash X here for the heals really helps out Chuck, but always needs to be a little bit defensive in the way that he approaches fights. And you can see Tempo realize that. They know that perhaps the lane will be a little bit more passive, so they bring 2 people into the jungle and now looking for the flankers. Best Chuck and Flash X have pushed up. Playboy misses the Impale there. Playboy Afro unable to connect on the Lance. And that's not really what you want to see when you're trying to get that sort of rotational playoff.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tempo Storm, they're doing a good job maintaining right now, but they have to be very careful. And, Playboy Afro, he was a captain for the Hollywood Hammers at one point, and Lance was his best hero as that captain role. He's really a playmaker on this hero, so he's gonna have to see if he can bring things together, if he can be that captain that Tempo Storm oh so desperately needs to take down Team Solo Mid here. Again, there's nothing but pride on the line for them right now, and that can be a big bit of motivation.
Pride in the respect of all of the members of Rogue and Tribe. I'm sure they'd be very happy if Tempo Storm could take out TSM here and basically remove them from the running. I believe that because Rogue were able to win a game early on up against Cloud9, they do still have a shot if TSM are locked out here. It relies on Tribe doing a good job in some of their later games tomorrow, but TSM still have their fate in their own hands. A win here would put them very much in contention for those world slots, and Tempo Storm are trying to act as the upsetters for that gravy train now. TSM push in the lane, and they already get a kill. First blood goes down. Vainglory with a huge chunk of damage on towards Gaspy. Great stuff from TSM as now they can push towards that turret as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot that has to go just right for Tribe. Oh, Vainglory gets skipped while underneath the turret.
Manages to survive though with the Imperial Sigil and the Fountain being used by Flash X, and TSM decide they don't want to stay around too much longer for that turret. They do have 1,000 gold lead and can go back and shop up. And you've got almost 2,000 gold sitting on Vainglory, so he'll pick up his first completed item. It's a Dragon's Eye attacker.
And this Dragon's Eye is an interesting first pick. It is providing a lot of crystal power for that burst, but it's also not raw damage either. It's gonna rely on Vainglory staying in the fight as long as he possibly can, so that he can, build that Dragon's Eye up, and then follow up with obviously the Kaiten and the X Retsu will do a lot of damage with the more crystal power you have. So it makes sense as long as he's sticking around in the fight. But if he's doing the whole in and out Taka style gameplay, then it's very easy for him to lose those stacks. So we'll have to see what he's able to do. So far they have a lead, and he might be able to find Hyde here.
Yeah, going to be fighting him in the jungle. Does catch her out, dodges the on point as well. Going to steal away these fronts if he can. Actually, he's going to come up towards the lane as Flash X and Best Chuck look for the engage on towards Gaspy. There's the X2 in, and just the deletion on towards the Kestrel. Doesn't even have time to go into the active camo. TSM with their second kill of the game.
Yeah, they get a second kill, and they might even be able to look for some lane aggression here. Playboy Afro waiting for Hyde to get here. They've gotten a little bit of damage on the turret, but not much. And TSM, again, they are going to be looking their best to try to win out on these games. They need them if they want to surpass Rogue. Looking over at the standings right now, it's Rogue up at 31 and Team Solomid are at 27. They only need 4 points to tie Rogue, and if they make it through today, that's 2, and they have an opportunity at 6 more points going into tomorrow, whereas Tribe are sitting 6 points down on Rogue. They literally have to win the entire week just to tie Rogue. That's if Team Solomid isn't able to pick up 5 points still.
Yeah, if TSM get 5 points this week, they secure themselves that second seed for Worlds for North America. So that is what they'll be aiming to do, and that has to start off with getting a couple of points here in this series. Expertsu from Von C, looking for the damage on towards that Black Feather Hyde, dodging his way away. Here comes the red mist. They look for the re-engage. Von C trying to build up those Dragon Eye stacks, but he's dodging in and out of the fight, and it's low. And we'll have to retreat down towards the bottom side. TSM haven't had to force too much on some of these fights. The Kaku comes out from Von C, gets some health back. They're looking for the turret, but the good Githian wall, and that's Von C going down the fountain too late from Flash X. And the engage onto Best Chuck as well. He was impaled underneath the turret. The second shot's going to hit, but he can run away with those boots. Flash X trying to escape as well. The Githian wall just knocks him to the side, but he can still get back towards his turret. Takes an on point to the face, but the Imperial Sigil heals him almost back to full HP. And here comes the engage. Good Githian wall. Flash X is low here. Here comes the Rose defensive as well. And Best Chuck getting chased in by Playboy Afro. Tempo Storm get another kill for themselves. The one-shot, one-kill does not connect, but they can get a lot more damage down on towards this turret. And it's only Von C coming in for the defense. Hyde gets a kill for himself. Von C running away down towards the bottom side of this fight. The turret falls, and Tempo Storm able to really change the pace of this game, get the tempo back in their favor as they catch out TSM and take a very slight gold lead.
Yeah, you know Rogue is sitting there biting their nails, hoping that the side of Tempo Storm can keep this up. They've taken a kill lead, they've taken a gold lead, they have taken a objective lead against Team Solomid here, finding a kill here and there, but it all started with a great play out of Playboy Afro, was able to stun Von C up on that turret, and then they get the kill. He rooted Best Chuck for a couple extra turret shots, and that may just have been the damage that allowed Hyde to get in there and pick up that kill onto Best Chuck behind the turret. And now, with the advantage, Tempo Storm, they need to look to keep this aggression without getting too far ahead of themselves. They have to be careful of Von C, but if they're able to stun him up, this Kestrel can blow up Ataka so easily.
But Taka can do the same in response. Dives underneath the turret, pops the healing flask. Imperial Sigil as well from Best Chuck, and Gaspy and Hyde are quite low here. Rose Offensive is available, as is the Fountain and the Crucible. The turret's falling low, down to about half, as TSM push towards it. Good Githian wall with the knockback. There's the Arcane Passage as well. TSM go for the full in engage. The Fountain a little bit too late. The root comes out. Best Chuck manages to get another kill. He does go down to the turret in the end, but TSM will be able to get a turret for themselves. There's only Playboy Afro left alive. He's not really much he can do to stop the advances of TSM.
No, not at all, but fortunately they were able to kill Best Chuck, so they don't lose out on everything. But it is going to be a jungle rotation, likely going over to Von C. And, you know, again, fortunately they killed Best Chuck, otherwise that would have been a gold mine, and that would have been a huge amount of gold spike going over to Team Solomid. Would have allowed Best Chuck to likely complete an Aegis, try to avoid some poke out of Hyde. They are sitting a couple hundred gold up. Again, this game has already started off 11 minutes in now. It's much closer than I expected it to be. Von C now has the Eve of Harvest complete on this Taka, as well as a level 11 Crystal Infusion in his pocket. And he's going to look to pop that likely when the next fight comes out. Hyde has an infusion as well. And one of these players will get something out of their infusion, and one of them will not.
The game of infusions at the moment, and there's one popped on Gaspy already as well. It's only level 9 though, not the best. Chuck has a level 10 one ticking over, and that breaking point, they can stack up that item throughout the course of the next fight. Tyrant's Monocle and Solar Blade finished on Gaspy. He's in a good position on this Kestrel, but he hasn't really been able to finally chunk onto Von C, who is one of his main targets in these battles.
Yeah, absolutely. Now both teams kind of gathered around the gold mine here, but it looks like TSM are the ones aggressing, and Tempo Storm are the ones on the retreat, but now that they've got some healing on the hide, they might look to come through for a fight here. Team Solo Mid have this gold mine started up.
Down to about half. Here comes the engage with the Arcane Passage. Chuck's going to chase this one in as well. They're trying to separate Playboy Afro from the rest of the team, but Chuck takes a big chunk. Arcane Passage is back out. Vonsi jumps in with the X-Retsu Impale, blocked out with that damage, but already Vonsi is down and the fountain comes out from Tempo Storm. They're looking for the engage. They just need to get onto Best Chuck, and then he jumps back in, trying to get the damage out, but with the Githian Wall stuns him up. The red mist isn't going to be enough. Another double kill going across towards Tempo Storm. They might even try and chase out Flashsex, who dodges the Impale, but can he dodge Hyde, who is on a chase here? 6 seconds. Gets the on point out, but not going to be able to get that very offensive. And Tempo Storm just turn their eyes back towards the gold miner. Here comes the chase on towards FlashX, trying not to give over. The ace manages to do it. The on point doesn't connect at the end, and Vonsi back alive. Gold miner will fall eventually to Tempo Storm, and TSM shouldn't be able to fight this one out, although they're not quite done yet. Looking for the engage. Here's Vonsi. Has the X-Retsu, jumps in, but good Githian will knock him back, and Tempo Storm being able to disengage for the time being. Needs to be careful of this flank from the Taka. They jump in, roll across. Playboy Afro is going to notice that there's someone in his jungle who shouldn't really be there. Does have the X-Retsu back up, but with a Crystal Sentry, it's very dangerous to fight around us. And TSM realize that and back away for the time being, just trying to delay these back so they can fight around this turret push.
Vonsi might be looking to get onto Gatsby here. They are pushed up against this turret. What's the play? Solo Mid going in.
And Vonsi jumps in, but impales straight away, healed up with the fountain. Gatsby is on that backline, doing a lot of damage. Hyde almost chased out, but TSM unable to find the fight. Vonsi's back to full HP, but that's a lot of cooldowns used to keep him that way.
That definitely has been, and now, you know, we're seeing right now the amount of sustain a Lyra can provide her team, healing them up. TSM are looking for the turret, but they're forced out by Tempo Storm.
Yeah, Crucible was used as well to stop the impale from Playboy Afro, who didn't want to use the Githian Wall too early. It was good play from Tempo Storm. They have 1,500 gold advantage. They've got double Tyrants finished on their Kestra. They've got the Echo on the Lance as well. And a pretty beefy position if they can find a good fight to take against TSM. And maybe they can play Kingmakers here for Rogue and for Tribe. You know, if TSM get knocked out here, basically no chance of getting through to... Well, they have no chance of getting through to the second seed because Rogue would take it, or Tribe can play upset to Rogue later on tomorrow.
Yeah, they definitely do, but Team Solo Mid, again, they are looking for everything here. Their lifeline is at stake, whereas, you know, Tempo Storm, again, they're literally just fighting for pride and the praise of the other teams here in the Vainglory 8. We are now 15 minutes in. Kraken is on the board, and this is where one of these teams needs to look for the execution they need. They need to get somebody killed so they can try to turn their attention onto this Kraken. Gatsby has a decent power spike for himself here. He has the Sorrow Blade and Double Monocle, but Vonsi gets chunked out.
But still back up to health with the Kaku and with that Imperial Sigil, and now can look for the re-engage. It's a game of flares at the moment, spotting out the enemy when they're stealth, trying to catch them out as they think they're about to get away. Here we go. Once again, the Kaku, the Arcane Passage. The Githian Wall was used, doesn't get the knockback. Also runes on towards Hyde as he jumps back around the back of the fight. Best Chuck's going to take a few glimmers, and it's all on Gatsby. Best Chuck solo, pops the red mist, goes back in. The Serpent's Mask isn't going to heal him up enough. Vonsi jumps in as well, but TSM are falling to the wayside. That's 2 dead, both the carries. It's only Flash X alive, and Playboy Afro is willing to take the chase. Bright Bulwark comes out to stop him, and the Kraken will be started by Tempo Storm, and it's a great fight for them.
Yeah, it definitely is. Can they find the Kraken off this? They easily should be able to. Gatsby and Hyde do so much damage to these neutral objectives that do not move out of the way of your skill shots. So just like that, Tempo Storm, they take a couple kills up, they take themselves a Kraken, and now they can look to get a very strong push here out of this Kraken take. They have a lot of poke damage that can be used to help bring down those turrets and allow the Kraken to get in. But Gatsby looking to maybe renew his infusion here, spending a lot of time rotating down. This is going to give TSM some free damage on this turret.
Does renew the infusion, picks up the Aegis as well. Vonsi is looking for a flank here. Good Githian Wall with the double stun. Hyde gets jumped on, but the rest of the team is here in time. The Kraken gets a lot of damage down onto the turret. Already Vonsi's dead! Holy moly, he got absolutely demolished by Tempo Storm. So will the turret, and the Kraken's still pretty healthy here. Going to be above half HP as they push towards this choke point turret. And it would be such a strange series of events if both TSM and Tribe tomorrow were upset by Tempo Storm, because that's the way the black bracket plays out. If Tempo Storm beat TSM here, they play Tribe tomorrow. If they beat Tribe tomorrow, they secure Rogue, the NA second seed. That would be incredible if that were the series of events that we were to see. But at the moment, TSM still fighting in this series. The Kraken going to get some damage down onto this crystal turret. Shouldn't be able to take it all the way down, but we'll get a big chunk out of it. In fact, might even be able to take it. One shot, one kill was blocked. One more auto. He takes the turret. She takes the turret. Good job, Kraken. You can go back to your resting spot and respawn later on in the game.
I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there that this Taka is not having the impact that Vainglory was probably hoping for. Is the reason that we've seen Taka fall out of the meta so heavily. I mean, once he dives in, he's able to get like one good chunk of burst damage, but then it's Playboy Afro stunning him up against a wall, getting a root, allowing Gaspy to get the glimmer shots onto him as he's committed himself so heavily to the front line once that X-Retsu is used, and they're able to blow him up almost uncontested by TSM. You know, it happens before Flash can even put an Imperial Sigil down, so they have to be incredibly careful. Now that Bright Bulwark is used, Hyde could look for an engagement.
They're going to go in. Vainglory knocks back with the Githian wall is great. A second Githian comes out as well, knocking Chuck back. Red and Mist blocks out the active camo stun there with the reflex. A great Githian wall once again. The Impale's just landing left, right, and center. This is superlative stuff from Playboy Afro, but still the fight continues. Githian wall knocks Chuck into the side of the jungle. He's going to get some damage down. The healing as well from the Imperial Sigil group. Superb stuff from TSM as they continually heal up through these fights, and Tempo Storm don't quite have the answer to it. All on Flash X, so many times he's been the playmaker, the carry for TSM, and once again he steps up big here, continually keeping his team healthy and topped up throughout this course of the last couple of team fights.
I've been doing a fantastic job. In fact, Tempo Storm specifically are looking very in sync right now. It seems like every single time Team Solo Mid try to come in and find some sort of execution on a play, it's the same thing over and over again. Vainglory comes in, Playboy Afro instantly uses a Githian wall and pushes the opposition back, and then it's a matter of Hyde landing it on point, slowing down Vainglory and allowing Gaspy to come through with the damage. And they've done it so well that if they can keep it up, they'll be looking to take game one here over Team Solo Mid. Kraken is back on the map, so if they're able to find a couple kills, they can take that Kraken. If they don't find a clean ace, or if they find a full-on fight, they can just look to end the game. But here we go, Best Chuck's in.
And going for the all-in engage, Vainglory there as well. The glimmers coming out from Gaspy as he survives off towards the side of this fight. Flash X putting down the Bright Bulwarks, a great stun coming out. Vainglory jumps in. There's the fountain, but already Vainglory is dead. And now they're going to turn their eyes towards Flash X and Best Chuck. Best Chuck has to prove that he is one of the best players in NA, but he gets impaled and knocked into the wall, and Tempo Storm get a double. They're looking for the final ace here. The one shot, one kill doesn't quite connect, but Flash X has no place to go. The ace will come out from Tempo Storm. They can look for the win here. And in pretty dominant fashion all around, 12 kills to 4, they're going to push in towards the base of TSM and take game one of this series.
And I'm gonna say, Medic, if you would have asked anybody who was gonna win this series today, guarantee you anybody that is not just a diehard Tempo Storm fan would have said Team Solo Mid. But Tempo came through incredibly impressive today. They take one game up in the series, and they did it very convincingly. And, you know, again, Taka, maybe just not the pick that TSM needs to look for. Just not very good in this particular update, and it showed. It showed very clearly. So that's Tempo Storm impressing me right now.
Yeah, very impressive performance. They haven't won the series yet, of course. 1-0 up. Playboy Afro having an